Hey, Steve of Fox Can Farms. Today I'm going to install a thermometer and alarm on this freezer that we just picked up. Now recently at my house we had some power outages, and that was a bit of a mess in and of itself, but one of the things that we had concerns about when that happened was, what is the temperature of the food in our refrigerator and in our freezers? It's an older freezer, by the way. If you've got a newer freezer, newer refrigerator, still under warranty, I don't recommend you do what I'm about to show you. What I picked up on Amazon, there's different types of thermometers, and I think I have like 3 different types that I'm using at this time. This particular one, it's not super expensive. I don't think I paid $15, maybe $20 for this. It's got a little sensor right here, and this one has the ability to set an alarm on it. Now, I'm not going to give you instructions on how to use this. You can kind of pick out the sensor that you want for your freezer. Now, when you buy these, they'll tell you to just slip it in through the top or the side or something like that. But what's going to happen is when you do that, you're going to end up with a little bit of a gap right where the seal goes around this here. I don't mess around with that on our freezer. And look at this, the thickness of this sensor. And I've got a drill bit here. I think this one is 3/16. And we're going to drill a hole right through here. So let me show you how we do that. I don't want to put it down the bottom, cold air sinks, right? The other thing is I'm going to do it on the front door, because most freezers and refrigerators have the cooling lines running through on the sides. What's on the top? I don't actually know. I've never taken one apart, so I'm not going to risk that. What I do know is there's nothing in the door. I'm going to go like this and measure here. Yeah, of course that's 27 15/16. So I'm going to call that 28. And even I can do that math in my head. That gets us 14. And I believe one of my sons, who's videotaping right now, because I see him smirking, he's probably thinking in his head, yeah, Dad, and then just back off 1/32. If I can get that precise, it's pretty good. But we're going to go with 14. That's approximately 14. Something like this here. Yeah, it looks like I'm off if you look at that there, but that's okay. You don't have to zoom in, really. It's okay. You don't have to show everybody. But the other thing we're going to do is we're going to open the door. We're going to figure out exactly where can we put this hole. Where's the most strategic place? Standard freezer door. Now this is a little dirty, by the way. Again, we got this free. Hasn't been cleaned up yet. We're just testing it out. So pardon the dirt. What I want to do is I'm thinking I'm going to put that, what I've done on my other freezers is I've drilled a hole maybe at the top, and then sometimes I'll just put a piece of tape. I'll run that sensor out and let that sensor kind of hang down here. Another way we could do it is we could drill a hole, put a piece of wire in there and drop that wire down in the hole a little bit, because there's foam insulation in there, and then that could stick out and hold it. But probably just do the easiest route and use some tape on this one. So how am I going to measure the distance from here to here? Well, so what we can do is get a framing square, line it up on the back here close enough, and then we could go like this. So we just drop down from the top here 4 1/4. The other way, of course, is we could just start drilling right through here and not worry about the filings and where they go, and also not worry too much about it pushing out the sheet metal on the other side. I think either way can work. And also what you could do is you're starting to push through the metal on the other side. You can go on the other side and you'll see it, and then you could go on the other side and drill through. In this case, I'm not too worried about it, so I'm just going to drop down on this side about 4 1/4, and then we're going to drill straight through. Measure twice, drill once. Alright, here we go. Here goes everything. I don't know if that shows up in the camera, but I can see that my drill bit is bent. So I'll probably need to chuck this one, but it'll be fine for this process here. Let's take a look inside and see how I did. If you're wondering about this toggle clamp, by the way, take a look at my other video I just did on that. And that explains why that's there. It's not a safety feature. It's actually the door was warped a little bit, and this has resolved the issue very easily. Anyway, let's take a peek in here. Well, either my drill was crooked or it could have been up a 1/4 inch, but you know what? It's going to work and it's going to be okay. I think it's going to be okay. I guess I won't really know till my mom sees it. So the next step is to put this sensor through. I'm going to push the sensor side through. There's our sensor coming right through. And as I mentioned, I think what I'm going to do is just put a piece of tape. And I'm going to leave that sensor right like that. I'm just going to tape it right there. So one of my daughters thought maybe we should use this tape. I don't know, I suppose we could. I don't know how durable it is and how long it would last. It's kind of cute, but I think I'm going to just go with plain old white duct tape. And sorry Mom, if you want the hard tape, you can put that over the top of the Gorilla duct tape. What I like to do is, if it's something that might potentially get removed, I'll fold over, you know, the end of the tape that way. I'm sure a lot of you know that little trick. So all I'm going to do is put this right here, and I'm just going to tape it. It's nothing fancy, it's just a piece of tape. We're going to let that sit there. Okay, one more trick here. You don't see it right now, but on the other side, let's take a look at that, what's going on there. We got all this. Now we could coil this up, put a little piece of wire, a twist tie on it, but instead, we carefully grabbing it on the inside here and on the outside, because we don't want to tear the insulation on here, just in case you ended up with a sharp edge here. We're just going to grab this and feed this all the way through. Now it's up to you where you want to have this, how much excess wire you want to leave out here. Do you want it over here? Do you want to leave some room? I don't know. I think I'm going to do something like that. Now what about this hole? If you watched my other video on this toggle clamp that I put on here, that was to avoid frost. What are we going to do about that hole? Well, there's a couple things you could do with it. One is, nice white front in this case. You could take and put some white silicone on there. Be a nice touch to kind of seal it up. Another thing that you could use is some electrical gum. I'm not sure if that's the technical term. I wouldn't chew on it, by the way. But this you'll often see they'll put around, say like air conditioning things that'll come out outside of your house or around to keep moisture or airflow out. Just take a little piece of that. I've got plenty, the piece I have here is plenty big. And I'm just going to plug it up with this for now. And my mom and dad can kind of decide if they want to put something else on there. What I want to do with this is surround the wire with the electrical gum and kind of push it in there a little bit so that the wire is going through the middle of the hole ideally, and the gum is being pushed around the edges of the hole. There's not a lot of tension on here, so you don't have to worry too much about it being cut or anything, but can't really see it from this angle. Sorry. Well, there you go. I'm not going to spend too much time on that. We can fine tune that later. You can put a little bit of water on there too. I think you can kind of smooth it out and make it look nice. But for now, you get the point. You can kind of massage that in there and make it look nice. And we're going to do the same thing on the inside. So again, what this is going to do is keep any moisture from any airflow going through there, which is going to cause condensation inside your door, as well as frost buildup on the inside here if we don't close this off. So now what are we going to do with this here? Well, you know, I think what we'll do is we'll just kind of coil this up. For now, what I'm going to do is use a twist tie, because that way if my mom and dad want to move things on the outside, they can move it around, they can pull more of the cord through. I'm just going to tuck it up there like that for now. Again, first I want to make sure my mom and dad can take a look at it. Once we get it in position, we'll get it at their house. I think what we'll do is we'll just tape this up as well so it's out of the way and doesn't get in the way. So we'll close this up here. Now again, I'm not recommending this specific model or anything. I recommend you do your own research on that. And I'm not really set up for affiliate links and all that right now, so you can go find a temperature sensor. This particular one has an alarm set, so you can set the alarm for whatever. This is a freezer, so we'll want to set that so that maybe say 20 degrees or 10 degrees, whatever it is that you think is a comfortable point at which you want a warning. And then this thing basically beeps when the temperature gets too warm. The other thing is that you have this constant reminder. Every time you go to your freezer, you're looking at the temperature. And of course right now it shows 55. I don't know if that shows up in the camera, but that's because we've had the door open quite a bit here, so been doing a lot of work, and that sensor already we're dropping down there, I can see. Okay, so this particular thermometer is a little bit really super basic. It doesn't even have an alarm. And so I had bought this at one point as I was first starting to put these thermometers in here. This particular freezer does have an alarm on it. If the power goes out, it's nice to know what the temperature is inside and whether or not we want to fire up the generator and start running cords all over, because we don't have a whole house generator. And I have seen some people install these on some college room, dorm room refrigerators. They'll actually cut out the metal, and then there's little tabs on the side of this, and they'll snap it right in there, and it looks really nice. This isn't maybe the best look, but it works. And those of you you're wondering, what is this strap? Well, this happens to be a freezer where the door isn't closed, and I need to put on, as I have in one of my videos, one of those toggle clamps on this one so that the seal works better. For now, it's got this little strap on here. Let me show you another one. Alright, not the best lighting here, sorry about that. This is a chest freezer. Now if you got one of these, we actually have another one upstairs that's a lot bigger, but this is a smaller one, and if you have one of these, of course the easy thing to do on one of these would be to drill the hole straight through here and have the sensor kind of hang down a little bit. But I don't know, if you have one of these, I don't know what it is like at your house, but at least at our house, this here is a horizontal surface, and it's pretty handy for putting lightweight stuff on. So it's kind of a handy shelf, so I didn't want to lose that advantage, although I probably should have, because then people wouldn't put stuff on top of here. But other than that, what I did with this one, and I'll show you this particular one is a little different design on this thermometer. You actually choose whether you have freezer or refrigerator, and then the alarms, you can turn the alarm on and off. You can have that, and that'll set up. But what I did on this one here, in order to get the wire to go through, I wanted this on the front, not on the top, as I mentioned. You can pick up these larger drill bits. This particular one, I think I actually used a larger one for this because this particular thermometer has a bigger sensor on the end, and it doesn't unplug here, and I really wasn't interested in cutting it and trying to solder any tiny little wires or whatever's in this here. So what I did is I took this here, I'll lift this up so it doesn't look as fancy as what I just did. In fact, I didn't use white duct tape, Gorilla tape, but all I did was take this here, get it started, get the hole, and then I went like this and put it at an angle, had it come out here, and then I just ran it there, and you can see the sensor is just running there, and that just hangs right there. Again, want that to be away from cold food, not touching cold food ideally. Could you go right through here? Probably could, because I think on this one the cooling is on the sides, but I didn't know for sure about that. And plus, and if I do here, it's more likely to be touching food or touching the side of the freezer and giving me a colder temperature than what I want to be aware of, which is I want to be aware of the temperature away from the food, the air temperature, if you will, within the freezer. So So, yeah. So that's just, there goes the alarm letting me know it's too warm in there. So there you go. Handy little sensor. So just another type of thermometer that you could install, and in a different, instead of in an upright, this is what we have in a chest freezer. Alright, so I hope that helps. Maybe something you might want to do with your refrigerator. You can do that with your refrigerator or freezer. And monitor the temperature, especially if you have an older refrigerator. If it's under warranty, don't do this, of course, but you might want to do this. We actually had a refrigerator that died on us, and it's super nice to have one of these on there, and we could see the temperature and monitor it and the alarm. So we actually had one on the refrigerator portion and one on the freezer portion. So yeah, other than that, oh, there is one more thing. I wasn't sure if I was going to share this, but I feel like I'm getting more comfortable with this, with the channel and everything, and I wanted to share. The truth of the matter is at one point in my life, I was really addicted to the hokey pokey, and then finally I turned myself around, and after I had done that, I started having second thoughts, and I started to wonder, what if the hokey pokey really is what it's all about? Other than that, make it happen.